A child is removed from their family home to protect them against abuse or neglect. Once in foster or residential care, the state of Tasmania becomes that child's parent. But what we've learnt through the Commission of Inquiry into child sexual abuse in care is that the system those children are brought into is not safe.
You've asked me the question, am I confident children are safe? No, I said they were safer. I'm not confident they're safe. It's a human system and human errors are made.
Human errors are made on an alarming scale. Over the past 8.5 years, 439 complaints of sexual assault have been made by kids in care. That's one every week, and assaults are very likely underreported. To put that into perspective, there are only ever around 1,000 kids in care. That's the same as a large high school. And this isn't happening in the dark, distant past. It's happening now.
We are failing those children and we are failing those carers.
Social workers like Sonya Enkelmann paint a picture of a system on the brink, undertrained, understaffed, underfunded, caring for kids who are often already traumatised and especially vulnerable.
There are perpetrators out there that can pick a person a mile away who is going to be more amenable to grooming.
People like Azra Beach. She told commissioners she had her arm broken by a member of her foster family when she was just 5 years old.
And then slapped me across the face after my arm was broken because I wouldn't stop crying.
She turned to spending more time with two men for affection and safety. Two men who were sexually abusing her.
I genuinely felt loved. They were telling me what a good girl I was. They were rubbing my hair.
She says child services never checked in on her living situation. And sadly, she's not alone as a child who had to make awful choices.
We've had a situation where a 14-year-old girl has chosen to live with a 60-year-old man and who has exploited her. But her reasoning is she was a lot safer than in her home with her parents.
But because this living arrangement is seen as her choice, there's nothing the social workers can do. On other occasions, those alarm bells are ignored. The head of one of Tasmania's largest foster care organisations tried to warn the department about 12 potentially abusive carers. She was told to readjust her risk appetite.
Risk appetite for actually being in a game where children were being exposed to harm, and that suggested to me that that was okay.
So how is this allowed to happen? Aren't there standards that these care homes have to abide by? Well, in Tasmania, no.
How is it that there are no out-of-home care standards in Tasmania?
Before the end of this month, I'm advised that the draft standards will be issued.
The Children's Commissioner can advocate on behalf of kids in care, but there is no oversight body, and the department has the final say on child safety.
So there's no mechanism there that someone can go to actually challenge the veracity of the decision that has been made.
Money has finally been allocated to create standards, but not to enforce them.
It doesn't appear to me to be a level of funding that would enable the type of independent oversight of standards.
It's economics, Ms McLean says, that motivates governments, but failing a child is expensive. Ashley Youth Detention Centre costs around $2,700 per child per day to operate. In 2020-2021, there were 47 children that went through Ashley, 20 of whom had been in out-of-home care. Many of those kids end up in adult prisons, where they cost the state around $122,000 a year. Take Brett Robinson, for example. He says he was taken from a loving home when he was a child and into foster care, where he says he experienced violence and was sexually assaulted. He ended up in Ashley after deciding the streets were safer than being in care. At Ashley, he says he was abused physically, mentally and sexually by the staff.
So welcome to Ashley, boy, you do as you're told.
He spoke to the Commission from Risdon Prison. after never being able to get his life back on track.
It's wrong. It's destroyed my life, and it's destroyed many other lives that I know.
Experts say the cost of reforming the system is high, but the cost of inaction is likely much higher.